Hey everyone, I hope you're well. Hope you had a nice Christmas and New Year's break if you had one. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm back here inspired by your lovely comments, very touching comments on my comeback video. And I thought, well, I'm in the mood to make more videos, so why not? I mean, some of your comments were a little bit over the top, can I say? Calling me the best Christmas present ever. To each their own, if that's your thing, sure, it's nice to receive lovely comments like that, like those, but I think it's a little bit exaggerated. I mean, again, to each their own. I, you know, uh, I make those videos not for my own gratification, although, not gonna lie, it's a nice boost to the ego and confidence to receive lovely comments, but I do it because I want to exchange with you on a sort of a personal level, and just show some records and share the love for music, the passion. That's all it is. I don't want. I'm not aspiring for any more than this. I don't want a big channel. I don't want zillions of followers. I don't want that. Doesn't interest me, and I'm not going to, so to speak, sell my soul to get there. I will be true to my original ethos, which is, just a dude talking about records. I have no other ambitions. I see that there's a slew of vinyl tag 2023. Oh my god! I mean, it's yeah. No comment. I will start show you some records because you're not here to hear me blah blahing, although maybe you are. I was just playing this record. It's a Centaur solo record, Sita Oniro, it's called in French, on the Arabesque or Recital, I think it's Recital Oriental Records, something like that. And it is an Iranian, Persian solo Centaur records, very repetitive, very drony. So it's very minimal, like it really is like a Steve Reich kind of. It's got this kind of repetitive, hypnotic sort of sound. It's beautiful, not essential by any means, but beautiful. Something that I got last year, one of these kind of like finds from 2022. And since I'm talking about Oriental music, I thought I'd stick with a couple of records that have been spinning recently as well. It was the magical Indo-Arabic variations by Bali Hamdi and Majid Khan. Bali Hamdi is one of the key figures of Egyptian music. He was married to Wahda. They formed this kind of like power couple of Egyptian groove. I highly recommend that you check out both of their music. So here it does what it says on the tin. It's just basically a mix between Egyptian or Arabic music and Indian music with Majid Khan, who plays. So Bali Hamdi composes the Indian instruments that you can hear on this sitar, tambura, tabla, and there's some Arabic instruments, obviously, a ney, argul, daf, darbuka, and violin. So it's a beautiful arrangement of these kinds of sounds. This is a brilliant record. It got reissued last year, I think. It's very expensive as an OG, and I'm very happy with this reissue. It's on AltaCat, or AltaCat, sorry, records. If that's your thing. And this is a 2022 release, which I sort of blind bought in one of my local stores. It's called Songs of Horaman. and this is it looks like a vintage record, but it's actually this guy is called Mohammed Mustafa Hedarian. That's his name, and it says there he was born on the first day of the year 2002. So this guy is just 20 years old basically, and he plays this beautiful. Well, he plays a tambour there, and there's some daf, which is the percussion instrument, recorded in 2018 in Iran. Again, beautiful record. Again, not really essential, but if you're into this kind of oud records, these kinds of solo. It's not a solo record because there's drums on there, but drum and oud kind of records. You dig this? It's a beautiful thing. In a completely different vein, it was New Year's Eve 2 days ago, and I didn't really go anywhere. I stayed here with my girlfriend, and we just had some food, and I put some music on, and here are some records that I played, party music for New Year's Eve. Daft Punk, Homework. I mean, it's a, what to say about the now defunct French outfit. Essential French house, the French touch as they call it. Shame that they're not making music anymore. That and Discovery are, really the essential Daft Punk, in my opinion. But when this came out, like Daft Punk and Around the World, I mean, such a game changer music-wise. I cracked out Mothership Connection by Parliament. Again, Give Up the Funk, What a tune, what a track, I mean, I don't need to talk about Parliament. You all know about Parliament. This record is essential, okay? I played some Chic, which is a self-titled Chic, which has got Everybody Dance, which is the big tune on this. Bernard Edwards and Nile Rodgers, what a pairing. I mean, it's like Sly and Robbie, it's like you got these kind of pairings, magical pairings. Nile Rodgers, what a genius, what a guitar genius. I mean, absolutely and utterly. I played some Craftwork, Autobahn. I hadn't played it for a while. This was to start the evening because it's not really a party record. It was just like to get us, we were making a bit of food. The opening side-long title track is still as Craftwork as you get. That's the essence, in my opinion, is the essence of Craftwork. That's just defines the sound of Craftwork. It's a bit like when you talk about Pink Floyd, and you talk about the side-long Metal. Like the track on Metal. Is it just called Metal? I can't remember. It's one side that sort of defines the sound a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I'm rambling. And I also played the Payback by James Brown. All four sides of it. We're a wild bunch. My girlfriend and I. We played Scrabble. Whilst listening to the Payback on New Year's Eve. Amazing. Yeah, so these are the records that I spun, Let me move on to other things that I've been playing recently. Now, I was in Europe in September this year, and obviously I bought some records in Europe. And I was in the Austrian town of Graz. And there was like a couple of nice record shops in Graz. I bought a few records there, quite cheap as well. And in one of the stores, the name escapes me right now, I found a copy of the Lounge Lizards self-titled record. This is an absolute monster of a record. In my opinion, it's such a great record. Obviously, this is a group that features Mark Ribero on guitar. I think they're a little bit underrated, the Lounge Lizard. I don't I don't really hear anybody talk about them very much. I was listening to an interview with Jerry Dammers a couple of days ago from the specials, and he was talking about the Lounge Lizards, and that made me want to listen to this again. This is such a great... It's an 80s jazz record, but it just sounds a little bit timeless as well. You know, it's got fusion elements. It's got classic sort of like, you know, blue note jazz era elements to it. I don't know. Just go and listen to it. It's from this is an original pressing from 1980 or 90 something. I don't know. It was recorded in 1989, so you can sort of tell what period it is. And then I was also in Slovenia on my trip in Europe. I spent about a week in Slovenia, and I was in Ljubljana, which is the fine capital of Slovenia. And I went to a couple of shops there. There was not much that I really wanted to buy in Ljubljana. I mean, it's cool, but you know, I'm not savvy enough about Yugo pop or Yugo jazz. I mean, you know, I know a little bit, and you know, but I found some nice. This is a nice reissue of Maiko's. Sorry, yeah, that's the name of the record. This is a record by Tanger Pop Asanovic. He was from Macedonia originally, and he's like the ex-Yugoslavia king of Hammond B3. This is like a really funky, jazzy, funky record from what year was this released in originally? This is a reissue from 2018. This is the inside of it. Although you don't care, you want to know what the music sounds like, do you? Yeah, just really funky Euro jazz with you know, with lots of Hammond, lots of really cool drums. Not that you could find this that easily, but it's cool. I'll stay on jazz, and I will spotlight a couple of CTI releases that I've been spinning madly recently. This is like right off the park, a buried treasure of CTI, I reckon. And I don't even know that anybody talks about this record very much. It's Kenny Burrell with God Bless the Child. I mean, you all know Kenny Burrell from his Blue Note days. You know, obviously, I've got those records too. But this is just brilliant. It's a fantastic record. It's a cheap record too. Mine cost me $25 in the local shop. It's a record I've seen around and around for years, and you know how many CTIs can I really have in my car? I've got quite a. I probably have about 20 CTIs, 20 really sort of top-notch CTIs between Bob James and Mill Jackson and you know, Black Moses and you know those kinds of. Sorry, Blue Moses by Randy Weston. These kind of really fucking amazing records. And I would rank this, it's classy. The arrangements by Don Zabiskie are not overpowering. The cast is really cool. Ron Carter, Billy Cobham, Freddie Hubbard, Hubert Laws, Ray Barretto, Airto Moreira. You know, I mean, what can you say? I mean, this is classy, and it retains a kind of a Blue Note aesthetics, if you will. Listen to, you know, if you want a really good sample, listen to Do What You Gotta Do, the third track on side one. It's very Miles Davis-esque, you know, it's got a... and another one, which is also a little bit under the radar, is this Chet Baker, She Was Too Good to Me, which features, as you can see, Bob James, Ron Carter, Steve Gadd on drums, Jack DeJohnette as well, and arranged and conducted by Don Zabiskie as per usual. This is a beautiful record. I mean, I think that, you know, with Chet Baker, you've got these kind of, you know, the classics, you know, the ones that, you know, there's that Tone Poet one that, you know, is out of print and, you know, people lose their shit over. This is very easily attainable. It's a very, very lovely record. His rendition of Autumn Leaves on this is as good as he's ever done. And I don't know, give it a try. You know, it's not a very expensive record. Now here's a reissue that I took a punt on in one of my local shops, because I mean, I gotta say, I was taken by the sleeve. I mean, how can you not? I love funky flute. I love funky flute in jazz. I just think it's also a very underrated instrument. This is Eric Ghost. Yeah, like a ghost. Okay, there we go. It's his name. He was Jeremy Steig's best friend. That's what I'm reading online. The record is called Secret Sauce. Funky as fuck. I mean, really, really, really funky. Like, if you like Jeremy Steig, you know, or Hubert Laws, but more Jeremy Steig, you know, this would be up your alley. You know, if you like those cool Beastie Boys flute samples on you know, on Check Your Head or on Ill Communication. You know, this is completely and utterly up. This is very cheap reissue too. There's the OG. I don't know what it goes for. I don't really care personally. This sounds good. What would I track an original of this? What would be the point of this, of the operation, of the maneuver? This is a nicely done reissue by an English label called Jazz Room Records. It is from, and it was such a rare record, 1975, Eric Ghost. But you know what? By any means, go and listen to it, you know, and make your own mind up. Here's a record that I've been spinning a lot recently. It's Eric Burdon and War, which is called The Black Man's Burden. Really, really fabulous records. Now the inside sleeve has got naked ladies, so I don't want to be bad by YouTube. So this is an original, I believe, US. It's a double album. It's an epic kind of. It's a sort of a concept album. It starts with a very funky cover of Painted Black, which works really well. But the whole record just really sort of, you know, evolves really gently and really nicely, and gets into this kind of, you know, jazzy, funky workout that War were capable of mastering. It's a brilliant record. It really is a brilliant record, which came out in sometime in the 70s. I want to say, I don't know, actually. You know, you can look it up yourself. This is on MGM. I don't know, 1970 something. See, I'm clueless. Doesn't matter. You can look it up yourself. You're not incapable of doing research. I was digging back into my Latin section. I've got like 2 cubes worth of Latin music somewhere there and there. And it's a modern classic that I don't play enough. It's a triple LP thing, to be fair. It's hard to, you know, it commands a certain amount of attention, so you need to be prepared for a listen like this. It's Onda Tropica, which is the project of Will Holland, who is better known as Quantic, English producer. You know, I think he's a beat maker as well, but he's really into Latin music and South American music, and he lived in I think he lived in Colombia for this. He was living in Colombia for a while, and with local musicians he made this epic 3 LP, very, 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 very beautiful, you know, Latin cumbia. It's got some very interesting choice of covers. He covers Iron Man by Black Sabbath in sort of a, you know, completely reworked, and there's also a cover of Pig Bag, Papa got me Papa got a brand new Pig Bag. You know, the new wave post-punk song Pig Bag. You know, and if you don't know it, the original alone is kind of crazy, but the reissue, the cover is, can't talk, sorry, too many bits of information floating in my head. Okay, now a trio of singer-songwriter records that I've been really digging in 2022, which I've been revisiting recently. This record here is the bomb, really. Tanger White, Homemade Ice Cream. Get a copy now. I mean, honestly, if you this embodies all the most fundamental aspects of what I like in music. You know, it's got a groove, it's got personality. You know, it's accessible, but at the same time, it lets you think about it. You know, it demands your attention. You know, it's got a beautiful, as I said, it's got a beautiful groove. This music. You would call it swamp rock or roots rock, but it's more than that. It's you know, it's rock with soul infused in it. Tanger White, I think, I don't really see these kinds of records being talked about in the VC, but this is a very accessible, very. This is, I think, a first. I want to say a first UK press or a first US press, but never mind. It's very. I didn't pay very much for it. It's cool. I love this record. Been also playing a lot of Terry Reid's Seed of Memory, which I love. I mean, it's a 10. This record is a fucking 10 out of 10. Really, it's just. Two sides are quite different. One side is more reflective. One side is more country rock. But nonetheless, they're both sort of really, really interesting. I think, you know, River is probably his best known record and is a masterpiece as well. But I think there's better production on this. It's kind of, I mean, maybe it corresponds more to my taste these days. Okay, that's probably what I would say. 1976 on ABC Records, the year I also came to the world. And here's a little bit of under the radar singer-songwriter, Bob Lind, Since There Were Circles. I must say, my buddy Mike Kelly, who will be watching this video, who I talk to almost on a daily basis, posted this record a while back on a chat that we have together, and the cover alone intrigued me enough for me to go and seek it. It's a really, really brilliant singer-songwriter record. If you like Jim Sullivan, you know, Jim Sullivan, who I've talked about on this channel many times, this would be up your alley. It's really well arranged. It's got a baroque pop kind of filter to it. All the songs are memorable, and it's a beautiful record. And it's, I think, from 1975 or 71. Sorry, 1971. Here are a couple of 2020. Well, I'm going to finish with 5 2022 release, and then I'll stop talking because that's enough. So here's the records which I picked up fairly recently. It just happened in front of me in the record store, and I was like everybody. I'm like everybody. So I look at this sleeve and I go, "That's fucking cool," you know. Just have to open that sleeve and you go, "Oh, you know, what is that motherfucker? Look at this. I want this." You know, we're all shallow like that. This is Flock. It is a UK jazz project which features Southie Kowa. I've got other records by. It's got Danlog from The Comet Is Coming. It's got someone from Meisha. I think it's Tamer Osborne, I think he's from Meisha. So it's a collective of different UK jazz bands, and it's more like a jam session. It's a four-sided jam session on Struts, and it's quite experimental in nature. But I like it. I mean, it's experimental UK jazz called Flock. It's called Flock, as you can see there. I think if you're into that side of music, into sort of a more sort of it's not free jazz per se. It's kind of jazz with lots of layered electronics and a sort of like jam session kind of vibe. Okay, a few records from this year, from here in Australia, because that's where we are. We're in Melbourne, good old Melbourne. Here's a record that I picked up about 3-4 days ago. The last thing I picked up in 2022 actually. This is Dark Age Martial Arts by the band June Castle. That's the name of the band. If you can see, this will focus. June Castle is the name of the band. Now, this is a local record to me, locally made to me, and it's two bands, Surprise Chef, who you might have heard of, and the other band escapes me right now, and the sort of merged and made this really fine jazz funk record, and you can see what they're going for, the aesthetics. It's kind of like 70s kung fu movie meets Star Wars, kind of like jazzy, funky. It's super cool, and this one comes on the nice green vinyl, which I'm not into colored vinyl. I don't really care for colored vinyl, but I think it goes with the aesthetic of the whole thing. It's got very Christmas colors as well. Very strange, but cool. Here is a release from this past year that I've loved and loved and loved. I played heaps. The JK group. JK is Josh Kelly, a local Melbourne saxophonist. He's involved with other bands like the Zeitgeist Freedom Ensemble and War Baby and also other bands. And this has got even Ziggy Zeitgeist on drums, who is from the Zeitgeist Freedom Ensemble. This is an EP called Rising, JK Group. People will say, "Oh, we don't know what the title of this JK Group." Okay, there's nothing to actually understand there. Rising, I love this EP. It's new jazz, which means modern jazz mixed with electronics, lots of layering as well. I love this. I really highly recommend this. Okay, here is this guy is not from Melbourne. I think he's from Adelaide. Julian Wilson is his name. It's called Mutation. I've actually got both of his records. The other one is here in the stack. There we go. That's the other Julian Wilson, but I'm not going to talk about that one today. Talk about this one. This one is an ambient record with lots of beautiful sax on top. Colin Stetson comes to mind, if you know Colin Stetson. It's like an Australian version of Colin Stetson. It's got a beautiful mandala on the sleeve, which just drew me to, again, I mean, like if you see a beautiful cover, you go, wow, what could it be? And it's a lovely evening record. I think you could play this at all times in the day, and I think it will work very well. It says, I'll read you the hype sticker. Melodic electroacoustic cinematic soundscape. File under atmospheric drone glitch, experimental hypnotic psychedelia improvisation. A lava lamp loops Fucking hell. Fourth World Dark Ambient. I have a section with all of these in my record collection. It's called Australian Jazz. No, I'm just kidding. And the last thing for today is the fantastic Danger Mouse and Black Thought project, Cheat Codes, which is probably the hip hop album of the year for some people. I'm not very well versed in hip hop. Actually, it got me to actually I don't know why, but I just thought I'll something that I hadn't played for a while that I pulled out of my hip hop section was this Talib Kweli and High Tech Reflection. I don't know why it took me to this. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what goes on in my head. I apologize. This is the samples are really on point. I mean, I'm not a connoisseur really. I probably have, I'd say, 150 essential hip hop albums. From your Nas to your Wu-Tang Clan to your Run DMCs, your Tribe Called Quest, and so on and so forth. Eric B and Rakim, The Far Side. I have those records because I appreciate hip hop as a very, very sort of elevated art form. But can I really comment on hip hop per se? I don't know. I think I sound like a bit of a wanker, but this is a beautiful record. Take my word for it. I am a hip hop dilettante, and if you don't know what that word means, get a dictionary. All right. I will stop here because it's plenty of stupid talk from me. And I was just looking at the pile of CDs right in front of me. I thought, maybe there's something interesting there that I can spotlight, but you don't care about CDs, do you? Julie Holter, Aviary, killer record. I love Julie Holter. Actually have, I think, a other record, and this is absolutely essential, this Julie Holter, to have UMO. That's Ad Pop 101. It's like a modern Kate Bush record, if you want something to compare it with. I'll finish with that. Finish with those records. I hope you have a great week or day or whenever you'll be watching this. And all I want from you is some comments, okay? Some interaction. I don't want this click, like and subscribe fucking bullshit, because it is fucking bullshit. Sorry, but if you need to remind people to click, like and subscribe every time, it's because you want views and you want to generate revenue, or because this is a job for you or whatever, or you make income from this. Not my game here. So I don't care if you like or you click or you push the notification bell or whatever the fuck that is. That doesn't interest me in any way, shape or form. All I want from you is some comments and some good interaction and maybe what you thought about this, that, and the other. I love you all. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. I sound like Anthony Fantano all of a sudden. You're the best. You're the best. The end.